Bonjour les élèves. Today we are going to learn about l'impératif, the imperative. It sounds like something we would say when something's absolutely necessary that it be done, and that's the same thing with l'impératif. They're commands. So take this in your notes. You use the imperative to give commands and make suggestions. The forms are usually the same as the tu, vous, and nous forms. Note that the nous form means let's. What you're doing with that is you're giving a suggestion. So if we look at a few examples, for parler, you would say parle à ton prof. You're telling someone, talk to your teacher. Parlez à votre prof. Same thing, but in the vous form. In the nous form, parlons à notre prof. What you're saying instead is, let's talk to our teacher. Let's look at regular IR verbs. Finis tes devoirs. Finissez vos devoirs. Finissons nos devoirs. Again, you'll notice that these are giving commands, telling someone to finish their homework. At a regular RE verb, they're just going to follow the same pattern here. Attends ton ami. Attendez votre ami. Attendons notre ami. So what's happening in all of these sentences is we're simply taking out the subject pronoun. There is no tu, there's no vous, and there's no nous words in here, just the verbs. If you think about it, the same thing happens in English. You're talking to your teacher, talk to your teacher. You finish your homework versus finish your homework. So let's continue here. You may have noticed that in our example with parler, parler is an ER verb. The to form might normally take the S, but in the imperative, that's the one difference we're going to see. We will take off the final S of the to form in the imperative. The same is true for aller, which is tu vas, V-A-S, but instead if you say go to the doctor, va chez le médecin, it will not have an S. And then verbs like ouvrir. This is going to be one of my checks in class. I want to make sure that you write down in your notes, and it can be just in the infinitive, that's fine, all of the verbs like ouvrir. The words that mean to suffer, open, cover, etc. Write those in those notes as well. Here, let's look at the examples that they give us. Regarde. You notice no S. Va voir le médecin. Pas d'S. Ouvre la bouche. Pas d'S. So it's just with ER verbs in the to form that little S gets, well, this is French class, let's say it, la guillotine. Now, here's going to be another place for me to check the notes. In negative commands, you put the ne, pas, or any other negative expression around the verb. So what you're going to do here is, when you're done writing the examples, you are going to write all of the other negative expressions you can think of. For instance, ne respirez plus. They're telling you not to breathe anymore, by the way. Ne dis rien. Don't say anything. So nothing else changes. You just put the ne and the negative expression around this. So if you can think of another negative expression that we use, add it to this, please. Okay, maybe the one for never. Okay? So here are your examples. What you're going to do is you are going to write out these 5 sentences, and if you notice at the end of each, in parentheses, there's a verb, plus before the verb there's a subject. What you're going to do is you are going to write commands. Be careful, you are not going to use the word tu or nous or vous in your work. So when you're ready, pause, and when you're finished, hit play again. Okay, so here are your sentences that you've rewritten. You should have regarde ce beau tableau. Prends l'omelette. So all of our verbs take whatever form they normally would, And the only different thing that we have to do is with our ER verbs and only when they are in the to form. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.